Alright, here we are back with our second round of strumming pattern videos. Right now we're going to work on the rock strumming. Now, when I say rock strumming, there's a lot of things that fall under that. In the last video on strumming pattern number 1 and just some basic strumming, we talked about how everything is related to down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now we may not have learned about eighth notes yet, but every beat is divided up into smaller parts. And usually the beat is the quarter note, and we divide it up into two eighth notes. Quarter, eighth, right? That makes sense. And so usually the downs are the downbeat. They're the quarter notes, and the ups are the offbeat. And if we put them together, down, up, we've just done two eighth notes. If we just did the downs, down, 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 we're doing quarter notes. If we do down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, that's eighth notes, because there's two of them in every beat, two strokes, one down, one up. Now in a lot of rock music, we tend to divide the beat up even further than that. And the basic pulse, there's still a big pulse on 1, 2, 3, 4. But rather than having the upstrokes come in between those, we usually do another downstroke, because a lot of rock music has at its core this 16th note. So if we were trying to do just down, up for eighth notes, then to get to a 16th note, we'd have to change that pattern again. And remember, we talked about the reason we like to keep that pattern the same is that way you never actually have to change the direction that your hand is moving on an A beat. You just have to change whether and how you're hitting the strings. So for rock strumming, we think of the eighth notes as down, 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 down. So if we want to go to the 16th notes, we can go down, up, 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 down, up. And you'll hear how that works. And then there's lots of variations. I can throw in some 16th notes, I can throw in different accents. And the basic things, the basic pieces of a good rock strumming is, first of all downstrokes for the eighth notes. Occasionally you throw in some upstrokes for the 16ths, but we won't get into that right now. And then it's usually a shorter sound. I wouldn't play a rock song that sounds like this, and I'm playing on an A chord, by the way. You hear that, how that just kind of sounds muddy and too much, and occasionally that might be what you want, but usually not always. So most rock songs, in the last video I just told you to keep your hand real loose. I don't want to tighten it up, but I don't want it to be floppy in playing rock. Right, that's not really the sound that we're going for. So I'm going to just hold a very loose kind of fist, just enough so that I hold my fingers together and they're not really moving independent of each other, but I'm still going to keep my wrist nice and loose. And I'm not going to hit all of the strings. I'm not going to go all the way through all the time. I'm going to take nice, short, controlled strokes, and it's going to sound something like this. Now the big beat is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Down, 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 down. So that part is easy enough. It's a little hard to get your hand under control, and to get steady. But it doesn't take the same coordination to go down, down, up, down, up, like we learned in the last video. The part that does take a little coordination, that obviously would get boring. It just... So one of the first things you can do with rock strumming is you add in some accents. And still on an A chord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out just playing the downstrokes, and I'm going to count. And on beats 2 and beats 4, I'm going to put in the accent, and you'll hear how it changes the feel. So here's no accents, and then I'm going to add them in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And getting ready for the accents. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here I got a backbeat. I'm becoming my own drummer, and we use this on the song "Lean on Me." Ready? Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. So here we need to start thinking about the guitar not as a melody instrument and not even as much as a chord instrument. It is obviously providing chords, but in rock especially, and in some other kinds of music, it is primarily a percussion instrument. So notice how I wasn't hitting very many strings. And then how I did the accent, I did play a little bit stronger, but I actually strummed more strings, so that just automatically made it louder. So, now you may have noticed I did put in a couple of 16th notes in there. I almost do it automatically. I can hardly help it because that's just part of the sound. And usually it is right after the downstroke that comes after the accented note. So if I was to count that out, I'd go 1 and 2, 3 and 1. And, sorry, actually 1 and 2 and a 1 and 2 and a 1 and 2 and a 1 and 2 and a. And that's if it's in 2. I should have actually been counting 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. So you can start to throw in the 16th notes if you're comfortable, or if you're not, it's going to be fine with just the downstrokes. The nice thing is that the 16th notes, all you have to do, you just have to go back up and actually hit the strings this time. You're already going back up for the next downstroke. So that's the very basic part of the rock strumming. The next the most basic is just doing the downstrokes, obviously, and then adding some accents, and then maybe adding a couple 16th notes here and there. You'll have to get used to that, kind of do it on your own, and not get caught up with that 16th note. Then there's one more accent that I find that it is used a lot, and that we're actually going to be doing on Chasing Cars. And it sounds like this. The first half, the first 2 full beats, actually it's kind of a 2-measure pattern. So it's 2 groups of 4 beats, and it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 4. So what I'm doing is I'm the first group of 4, the first measure, I'm not accenting anything. Maybe I'll accent 2 and 4 just a little bit, but then on the next one I'm going 1 and 2, 3, 1. So actually, if I was to count that out, it'd be 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. Or you could just kind of count it in the groups, which would be 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so when I put that together with the one that's not accented at all, it sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Sorry. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1, 1. So that's the pattern we're going to be using on Chasing Cars. Same basic down, 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 just accenting different ones. And there's all sorts of different things you can do with this, and we'll get into more and more complex. If you're still just struggling with the down, 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 and getting some accents in there, don't worry about the rest of this right now. If you're ready to throw in some 16th notes, that's another variation. You may have noticed that I did it at the end of each of those two measure groups. Down, 1, and 4, and up. Right at the end there. Somebody in class today noted that that was kind of the same thing that Summer of '69, the Bryan Adams song. Actually, I think it's my first real 6 string, only at the 5 and down, played it till my fingers hurt. Summer of '69. You probably didn't really need to hear me sing that, but just so you start listening for it in different songs, I think you'll actually find it in a lot of places. So go back and practice. I'll throw some links in there so you can get back to the spot where we're just practicing the basic downs and putting in the accent, because that's going to get you familiar with the whole concept. But remember, all downstrokes, shorter strokes, you're not hitting all the strings. Your hand is a little bit, I don't want to say tight, it's a little bit more controlled. You're not just letting your fingers loose like you are for the other kinds of strumming. And then you accent by hitting a little bit harder and strumming all the way through once in a while. All right, thanks for watching.